Hi, I'm Christopher Dunnigan. This is HandmadeInVermont.com, and today we're talking about the Hubbardton Forge Dorset large dark sky friendly exterior wall sconce. This is part of the Dorset collection that's going to also include two other wall sconces like it that are smaller, plus a post light and a hanging pendant. So check them all out if you get a chance to do that. So why don't we get into a lot of information. There's a lot of stuff to go over on here. Let's talk about the glass to begin with. You're going to have two options for glass. There's going to be a pull-down menu. It says choose your glass. One is going to be Hubbardton Forge's opal glass, and I'll talk more about that later in the video, but that's going to be an opaque white glass, and since it is going to be opaque, you're not going to be able to see your bulbs, which means that you can put a bulb in that's not aesthetically pleasing. It's going to be hidden by your glass. The other glass option that's going to be listed there is going to be called clear seated or seated clear, and that's basically a clear glass with little air bubbles in it. It's going to give you the opportunity to basically kind of tweak this fixture between the glass and the finish, so you can go from pretty contemporary right down to very traditional depending on what your project is going to be asking for. Okay, let's move on from there. And why don't we talk about size? So this is pretty big, 29.5 inches overall height. The width on it is coming in at 14.6. Projection from the wall coming out is 17.3. And then the mounting height, well, let's actually talk about the backplate on this. The backplate is going to go over a standard 4-inch junction box, and that backplate is coming in at 13.2 by 8. So it's going to cover a lot of stuff. Mounting height, distance from the bottom of the fixture to the middle of your outlet box is coming in at 13.1. I want to show you a little bit more information about that, and how we're going to do it is to look at the installations instructions now. So if you're on the page for this on Handmade in Vermont, look over on that side of the screen midway down. You're going to see a link. It's going to say click here for installations instructions PDF. So open that up. It's going to show you a lot of good information there. It's going to show you a full parts list, how everything goes together, which is very simple, but it's going to show you some good line drawings, schematic drawings of the back of this, like the very back, the back of the back plate, how it goes onto your junction box. Lots of details you can see there that you can't just see in a photograph of this. So take advantage of that. It's on all of the Hubbardton Forge pages on our site. Why don't we jump into what's going on as far as lamping goes on this. So if you're a California customer and you are building a new house or renovating a house where the building inspector is coming out to check on your permits, they may ask you to do a California Title 24 compliant bulb and socket setup. That would be a GU24 bulb. GU24 bulbs and sockets basically have these little prongs on top. What they don't allow you to do is use incandescent bulbs. So that kind of locks you into an LED or a fluorescent, which is what they want. They really want you to use a LED, and that's probably what you would be doing. So these fixtures are available as a custom with these California Title 24 compliant GU24 sockets and bulbs. Just email us if you're in that situation. If you're not pulling permits and no one's coming out to check and you're just putting new fixtures on, that's fine. You can just go with the regular ones, but these are here if you guys need it. The other thing is this is dark sky friendly, and I'll talk more about the whole dark sky idea and everything about it a little later in the video as well. But to make this dark sky friendly, what you're going to be using is called a par 20. So a par 20 bulb basically shoots light in one direction, and that direction is going to be down, because the whole point of dark sky is you don't want light filtering up or out. Which means that if you're doing a dark sky fixture, most of the light's all down, big puddle on the ground, not out into your yard, or your neighbor's yard, so just remember all that. But if you're not dealing with dark sky restrictions, your HOA or your town is not making you do dark sky, you can use whatever you want as far as a bulb goes. It's going to be using a regular medium base socket, which is very user friendly. All kinds of bulbs you can use. When we talked about the glass before, remember one of the options for glass is going to be clear, so you might want to put in kind of an interesting bulb because you're going to be able to see it. The other one, like I said before, is going to be opaque white glass. It'll hide everything, so you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. But like I said a second ago, if you're not dealing with the dark sky thing, you can kind of put in whatever you want. And you can get a ton of light out of this, and you can project light out into the yard to find your dog or your car keys or whatever you're trying to do. It's just a matter of which bulbs you can use. So I kind of like these as far as LEDs go. The recommended bulb on this is going to be, like I said, a par 20 for dark sky, or probably just an A19, which is a standard size light bulb. But this is a big fixture, the biggest one of this series of 3, so you can put in bigger than an A19 if you want to. I found this at a 40 watt equivalent, a 60 watt equivalent, a 75 watt equivalent, and I found an A19 at 100 watt equivalent. But like I said, you have a lot of room in here, so you could even use an A20 and an A21, much bigger than your A19. See the size difference? I found these at a 200, well, easily 150 watt equivalent and a 200 watt equivalent, and I've even spotted one at a 300 watt equivalent if need be. That's a ton of light. They're going to offer these to you in all kinds of different ways, different colors of light. You can get them everywhere. I can pick them up at Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware. I can find these in Vermont at my grocery store, so you should be able to find them pretty much everywhere too. And they're going to offer these to you in different types of light. And going back to that idea of, you know, contemporary versus traditional, even the light coming out of the bulbs makes a big difference. So 2700 Kelvin is kind of like candlelight, and that could be that's a yellow light, can be very pretty coming out of the clear seated glass, I think, probably with a bulb like this. Maybe even Edison type of bulb, which looks like this but has a little point on it, like Thomas Edison made it for you in his little lab there. But anyway, so that would be kind of that more romantic light, you know, maybe in a traditional home, maybe not. But moving on from there, they're also going to offer these bulbs to you in something called daylight, which is not a warm romantic light. That's that bluish white light like a convenience store overcast day, and that's going to be 4,000, 5,000 Kelvin on that Kelvin scale. What we like to use in our showroom is 3,000 Kelvin. That's that middle of the road, warm white, soft white. Use it all the time, and that's what these generally are when I buy them. And I pick them up usually at Walmart or at Home Depot. I think Home Depot has a pretty good house brand for that kind of stuff. The color of the light is very important in our showroom because I kind of want it to look with the warmth of an incandescent bulb, not necessarily that bluish white light or the super yellow light. And that's what's coming down on this desk, because these LEDs above are warm white, soft white, 3,000 Kelvin LEDs. The other thing is, you know, you might put these on some place where you want to dim them. That could be important for you too. Maybe a screened-in porch, maybe around a pool, someplace like that. Drinking wine with your friends late into the evening and talking, you'd be able to dim these down to be almost candlelight just by buying the right bulb. Let's talk about for a second the differences between dark sky friendly and dark sky compliant lighting fixtures. So in the United States, there's actually a private corporation called the International Dark Sky Association that owns the rights and the trademark to the entire dark sky compliancy issue. Not only do they set the limits and the specifications about what fixtures can be dark sky compliant, but they charge lighting manufacturers for the right to use their certification and certificate on their fixtures. Hubbardton Forge manufactures their dark sky friendly fixtures to the exact same specifications as if they were going to be dark sky compliant. They just choose not to pay for that lighting certificate from Dark Sky International. So if you're going in front of a HOA, like a homeowners association, maybe a zoning administrator, someplace that is going to require dark sky certificates for your lighting that you need to purchase for your project, you might want to come to us first and ask for the data sheets. The data sheets are going to show that these are dark sky, well, made to the same specifications of dark sky compliant, just not using that certificate. So you can take those to the board or whoever you're going to be seeing before you order your fixtures, which is a very good idea, and you can be well armed with the correct data to present to them. I want to touch base on Hubbardton Forge's opal glass for just a second. So all of Hubbardton Forge's glass to begin with is going to be hand blown. This piece is hand blown first in clear, then they're going to come in and they're going to blow another layer of white glass on the inside of this. The third step is they're going to take and they're going to sandblast the whole thing on the inside and the outside. That's going to give you this beautiful, mellow, translucent, milky piece of glass. When you look at this and you can see the layers are actually piled up on the inside of this. Hubbardton Forge is very obsessed about details on all of their pieces, including their glass, and that's why you're here, because you're probably just as obsessed about little details as well. Hubbardton Forge only uses aircraft-grade aluminum to make their outdoor fixtures. Aluminum holds up the best in incredibly harsh environments. When you're out and you look up in the sky and you see all those jet airliners running around up there, those are all made out of aluminum for a reason. And part of that reason is it holds up great, like I said. It also forges beautifully. It holds finish beautifully. It doesn't rust. Remember that. It's very important. And they're virtually indestructible when they're all finished. So how Hubbardton does it is they take the fixture itself, they're going to wire it up at the top, they're going to put a wire at the bottom, they're going to send a current of electricity that's going to go through this fixture, making it positive, and they put it into a spray booth with a picture of the woman next to me. You can see she's spraying finish around it, and because it's positive, it's going to adhere to every nook, every cranny, the top, the bottom, the whole thing. After that, they're going to take this and they're going to move it into an oven. That oven is going to melt all of that down and create a very hard shell. So it makes it, again, virtually indestructible. So they've also tested these things in these wind chambers. So they take the fixture, all covered in that epoxy powder coat. It's going to go into that chamber. They're going to shoot salty seawater at it at high velocity for hours and hours and hours, just like you were at the beach and you have like a hurricane coming in, which to me is going to be pretty much the worst environment you're going to run into. So after they tested these and found out that they hold up incredibly well, Hubbardton Forge offers basically the best warranty in the lighting industry. And you can see that on the page for this. So if you scroll down a little bit, there's a link, and click on that and it'll show you the entire warranty and how it all works. Okay, showroom. Our showroom in Vermont has over 400 Hubbardton Forge fixtures. This is the biggest showroom in the world of Hubbardton Forge. No other showroom is like this. Hubbardton Forge doesn't even have their own showroom. They use this one. What's on display? We have a great tab on that. On those same red tabs, you're going to see a What's on Display page. So open that up. It's going to show you everything we have on display, and including which finish, which shade, all of those things, and what kind of glass it's on there. We're open every day except Sunday, 11 to 6. I'm here every day except Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We also have an amazing clearance center. Clearance center stuff is 75% off MSRP. It's returns, discontinued stuff, showroom samples. You have to come here to use it. Can't call us or email us about it, but it's definitely worth coming in to look at if you're in Vermont. Plus you want to use the showroom anyway because there's just so much great stuff here to see. Our number in Vermont, 802-446-2400. You can email us 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Love to answer emails, and it's sales@HandmadeInVermont.com. So when you order from HandmadeInVermont.com, shipping is going to be free to every state except Alaska and Hawaii. No tax if we ship out of the state of Vermont. And we're the only dealer with 90-day returns, no restocking fee. Nobody else does that. Some larger items are going to be non-returnable. It's going to be really important that you are looking at the fixture on that page and kind of scroll down under the description. It'll tell you if that is the case. And that's usually for really big, giant, huge fixtures, mostly that go out on pallets. Okay, that's it. Rush program. Let's talk about that. So rush program, Hubbardton Forge generally takes about 3 to 4 weeks to go out the door. That's production time before your transit time. You always have to add that on too. We offer a rush program that takes you from that 3 to 4 weeks down to a little under 2 weeks. It's a very small addition per line item. So if you have like 1, 2, 3 items, like let's say 3 or 4 outdoor sconces, and they're all the same size and they're all the same finish, that's one line item. So it's very inexpensive to rush those kind of things. Don't be afraid to email us and ask about that. Okay, so that's really it. If you guys have any other questions, let us know. We would love to see you in our showroom sometime. And thanks for stopping in.